This is why I quit college and decided to start traveling the world instead. And I really do think it was the best decision I ever made. Hey, it's me. How's it going, everybody? So today is a very special day on this YouTube channel. Today marks 5 years being on YouTube. April 17th, 2014 is the first official day that I launched this channel as the Traveling Clatt. I came to you a bald, tall, very awkward, didn't crack a smile a single time during that video, announcing to you that I was gonna be going to Africa. 5 years later, we are at 100,000 subscribers and we're making videos, and YouTube's our full-time job, and we live in New York City. I understand that this video is probably going to reach a wider audience than just my community, so I'm going to save you guys the kind of abridged version of history about my YouTube channel. We'll jump right into the topic of why I quit college to travel the world instead. And if you guys want to hear more of a sappy kind of thankful gratefulness about this YouTube channel, that'll be at the end of the video. I do want to mention though, in addition, a big thanks to my friend John Barr for convincing me to make this video. I was on edge of kind of talking about this stuff for a while because I didn't want to inspire anybody in the wrong way, because I know and I want to establish right now in this video that what I'm going to say in my lifestyle is not for everybody. Definitely not for everybody. It's not something that I think everybody should be doing. But I think there's a lot of people who have that untapped potential that they just don't have the courage to do, or they don't have the courage to take that next step. So maybe this video could kind of help inspire you to maybe do something along the lines of what I did. Also do want to mention that this video is a sort of play on the series that I've been doing on my channel for the last few months, which is called Walk and Talk, where basically I get a topic for my patrons on Patreon, and I just walk around New York City and talk about it. So if that's something that you guys are interested in engaging in and getting involved in, you can check out my Patreon down in the description below. If you want to support this channel, you can do it by buying some merchandise or Patreon, whatever. There's tons of ways to contribute to this channel. You can find a way. But let's just hop right into the topic. I don't really know where to begin, because 5 years ago, around this time, I was in high school. I was 17 years old. I was starting this YouTube channel as part of the reason was because a friend convinced me to do it. Part of the reason was, well, a story that's going to come on this channel soon, but I never saw it being a career choice. I always tell people when I look back at me, like 17-year-old me, 16-year-old me, I was not a huge fan of being on camera. I was very self-conscious about the way I looked, my body and all that stuff, and so I never wanted to be in front of the camera. So even doing this as a full-time job is really not something that I saw myself doing for a long time. I had dreams of being a director, like a big movie director. I was very inspired by the work of Steven Spielberg, so I always wanted to be behind the camera, filming stuff or directing stuff rather than on camera. So when I grew up, I always saw myself going to a very prestigious school like Harvard. When I was younger, we had moved around a lot between the United States and Israel, and so there was this gap in middle school where I lost this crucial amount of knowledge when it came to English and math, which really held me back when we eventually moved back to the States. And so I always struggled in school. My last 2 years of high school, I went to a school which was very easy to pass. It was kind of known around town as like a joke. We basically didn't have to work very hard to pass that school. Like, it was very easy to pass. I came out, I think it was like top of my class, or it was like second or third of my class out of 15 kids that were there. It was an interesting experience. That being said, at the end of my high school time, I realized that it would be very difficult for me to get into a prestigious school. And so already at the end of high school, I was already a bit on the fence about whether I actually wanted to go to college anymore or what I really wanted to do with my life. In addition to that, at the end of my high school time, I got accepted to the University of Hawaii, which is where I was going to go for college. But I realized very quickly that with the crazy costs of college and school and stuff in the United States, I lived in Florida, and to move to Hawaii, they charge you like an extra price to go to school in Hawaii. It would have cost me about $25,000 every semester. There's 2 semesters per year, so that's $50,000 a year, and you have to get your associate's degree in the US before you can take anything else. So it's 2 years of school minimum. That would have been $100,000 in debt for a degree that basically can't do anything for me. I just didn't know how I felt about being out of high school for a year without much knowledge about the world around me and being $100,000 in debt. Like, that's a number I can't even really fathom nowadays. Like, I can't imagine 17-year-old me looking back at 100K and being like, that's a lot of money. So I just decided that I wasn't going to do it, not immediately at least. I went on this big trip to Africa, which is kind of the origins of this YouTube channel. And YouTube was never an aspect of a job. Me and my friends always joked about it. One day you'd be at 10,000 subscribers making money, or 100,000 subscribers making money, but it was never really a reality. It was never something that I actually thought was going to happen. It was always just like a hobby. And so I went into the world just trying to kind of work and travel and work and travel. Things like a paddleboard instructor. I worked at a Chipotle Mexican grill restaurant. I worked Mexican, by the way. I know Mexicans don't actually think Chipotle is a Mexican thing, and it's probably not, but whatever. I worked at a pet store. I worked at a warehouse. I worked at just a bunch. I did anything that anybody would give me money for, and so I kind of took it as my gap period. I have a very close friend of mine, Moshe, who's been on this channel quite a few times and has traveled with me a lot, who was really hammering home to me that I needed to at least try college at some point. So I found out that with our income situation at home, I was able to actually get free community college. I was able to just go to community college for free using the FAFSA program here in the United States, and so I was able to go to community college. So I decided that I was going to go to community college after about 6 months, exactly 6 months of just traveling the world, and I really developed a love for it, and I also felt like I learned so much during that time, and all of that stuff is still on my YouTube channel, by the way. If you guys want to scroll back and find those videos, they're all there. So I was in New York City on my way to Canada on a Greyhound bus when I finally got the email saying that everything was accepted, that my college application was accepted, my classes were assigned, and I was ready to go to school. So I think it was January 6th, 2015. I had to make my way back to Florida from Toronto to Miami and start school. So after those 6 months, I went from, you know, backpacking the world to sitting in a chair and learning in a community college. Going to community college in the States, it could be different in every community college, but this specific community college, it was called Broward College, if any of you guys are from there or have gone there. Many people go there just as a transitional period when they want to get into a better college, and so nobody's there to socialize or to hang out, really. Nobody's there for college community. It might be different nowadays, but when I was there, at least, it was very like, it's just dead. Like, nobody wants to be there. Everybody's there because they have to be there. And so I just went from loving life so much to just ugh. And I knew that I was there. I was like, okay, I've committed myself to this semester. I wanted to choose the classes that would make me the most happy and do stuff that would be really interesting to me. Because I was like, okay, if you're gonna do a college semester, you have to try things that are not gonna totally like kill you. And like, I didn't want to just be like super bored with like math and English and whatever and then just leave and never want to come back. So I wanted to give myself the best chance to possibly stay. So I took an anthropology class, which I was really interested in. I took a political science class. I took one mandatory computer class that I can't even really remember. It was online. And then I took piano. And these were all classes that were required by the degree that I was going to get. It all kind of fit in. They were either electives or whatever. I don't remember the exact terminology for it. I realized very quickly that this is not a life that I wanted for myself. I realized that, okay, even after 2 years of doing this degree, that's a long time. I looked back at the 6 months that I did so much in, and I was like, I'm gonna be here for 4 months, and I feel like I'm not gonna learn anything. And I'm just not gonna, like, I'm not interested. This isn't for me. I was very negative about school, and obviously the prices, the exorbitant prices of going to school in the United States, and I was just I had a very negative outlook on college, you know. But after that first semester, I just looked at everything that I felt like I accomplished in that semester, and everything that I accomplished in the 6 months prior to that traveling the world, and I said, this is not for me. This is just not for me. So at the end of my college semester, I went on my birthright trip to Israel, and that helped me kind of like funnel my way into Europe and different countries and stuff. And I started really backpacking then. I, you know, got myself a backpacking backpack and really started experiencing what it was like to just travel with nothing but a backpack. In the background, I was still creating content on YouTube. It was once again very much a hobby at that point. I wasn't making videos more than one time a week, and it never really picked up. It was just always something in the background. My parents questioned a lot of my decisions. They were like, why are you doing this? Why don't you do something a little more serious? And I tried. The only thing that did kind of sit in my head was my future. And so in 2016, I had the opportunity to travel to the UK, where I went to an event called the Live the Adventure Summit that was held by a YouTuber named Fun for Louie. His name is Louie Cole. And so he basically gathered a bunch of the top people in the travel genre on YouTube, brought them to one location. But when I went to this event, I went with one clear goal. More than anything, more than networking or getting to know anybody or getting a shout out on my YouTube channel, the biggest thing that I wanted to do was ask all of them what I should do with my life. And at some point during the event, there was this open kind of Q&A panel where you could ask all these guys, all these social media creators, you know, what you want to know from them. And so I stood up at one point and I asked them, I was like, hey, listen, this is a predicament I'm in. Making content on YouTube for the last few years, haven't really known what I wanted to do with my life. I figured out how to travel for cheap. When do you guys think is a point to really give this all I have? And like, when do you guys think this is a point to just do it full time? I remember they all cohesively said it. Now. Do it now. Don't wait. Do it right now. Like, you should start yesterday. And that was such a like breath of fresh air to me, because basically everybody around me in my life has been telling me to get serious with something, and I knew that my passion was going to be somewhere in the route of travel video making, something I didn't know what I wanted to do. I took that with me back home when I eventually left. And that passion is what fed into me becoming a YouTuber. At the time I was at like 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers. That's when I really started like focusing on like 2 videos a week, 3 videos a week, really upping my game and the content quality and the way I made videos. And just 6 months later from that, I decided I'm gonna try to do this. Decided to try to fly around the world over the course of a few months, hit up some countries that I knew would get me views. That is when the shift focused, of June 2017, and I officially let go of the dream of going to college, I think. And I think I realized very quickly that college is for some people and it's not for other people. Very much so. There are some people who feed very well into the college system and they can go and study and they can focus and they can do well. There's other people that don't fit into it but can force themselves into it, but then I feel like they become very unhappy. I'm a person who I believe has a very, very strong work ethic, and so I know it's not my problem with actually working or interest, because I do love learning and you learn so much when you travel. I realize there's people that should do it, there's people that shouldn't do it, and I just feel like I'm in a group of people that shouldn't be in college. And things ended up working out because I put a lot of hard work into it. Nothing was by chance. I think that I created my own destiny in this world. I really, put in all of the work that I possibly could to create this and make this my future. Never stopped and never, ever, ever rested. I have been going. I've still, up until right now, I still haven't taken a proper vacation. It's just been 5 years of grinding and never stopping and trying to find out how I could make this a reality for myself. And I did it, finally. But I think now that I look back, I want to make sure that I preach this to you guys. Don't take what I've done and try to copy it verbatim. I think that every person needs to experiment a little bit, especially when you're coming out of high school. I think that if more people, especially in the United States, traveled abroad, your life would be very different. I don't think that you should wait to do all your traveling when you're older. I think it's very important for you to do traveling when you're young. People say that your brain doesn't stop developing until you're 25, and I think the more traveling that you do early on, gaining that knowledge is really going to help you expand yourself as a person and grow. So I highly, highly recommend that you do some traveling early on, but take this as a word of warning. Don't try to emulate what you saw in my life, because there are so many places here where if I just gave up or gave in a little bit, this wouldn't be my reality and I'd be in a very different position. There's a bunch of situations where I could have died in. There's a bunch of situations where I could have lost all my money. I've done very dangerous stuff to get to this point, but I'm happy. I'm proud of every decision that I made to get here. And I don't think that it's for everybody. But I think that if you feel lost in life, or if you feel Thank you, New York. Definitely don't let everybody around you dictate your life. Because I had everybody, literally almost everyone around me told me not to do what I was doing. And if I would have listened to any of them, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So once again, that's a bold statement to make. And I don't think that everybody should specifically do that. But maybe you're in a situation that's kind of similar to mine. If you feel lost in your life and people are always telling you what you should and shouldn't do, maybe don't listen to them. Maybe don't give in. Kind of carve your own path out. I am really scared of putting out this video because I don't want the responsibility of somebody watching this video, following my footsteps, and then ruining their life. So please, just be careful with your life and don't try to copy what I've done. This is why I quit college and decided to start traveling the world instead. And I really do think it was the best decision I ever made. That being said, I think we should tie into kind of the 5-year anniversary of this YouTube channel. I'm sure that this video has dragged on long enough. It was that one decision that to press upload, to press publish, like to decide to do that changed the course of my life forever. Even if everything fails, even if YouTube fails and I fizzle out of this and I end up going to work at a desk job, which I don't think realistically will ever happen, if that's what ends up happening, this still has changed the course of my life in such a crazy way. I got a lot of help from a lot of people. This would not have been possible without the help of tons of people abroad who taken me in when I didn't have money, who let me stay at their place, who let me work in exchange for stuff, who let me cook for them in exchange for a place to sleep for at night. Like, just the most crazy set of opportunities. But I feel like I've been absolutely blessed in life with the opportunities I have been given, and I want to make sure that with this YouTube channel going ahead, if this continues for another 5 years, if I do end up doing this for another 5 years forward and I'm 10 years down the line, that you guys know how grateful I am for the opportunity that was given. But I want to make sure that you know here at the 5-year anniversary that now that we're at 100,000 subscribers, we're 5 years in, this opportunity won't be wasted on me. Your views, your money, whatever you spend on this channel, however you decide to give back, it's not going to be wasted on me. I'm so grateful and so happy to be in the situation that I'm in, and I won't waste it. That being said, if you want to support this channel, you know what to do. We got some merch. It's on screen right now. It's in the description. I'm proud of this stuff. You know, when I started 5 years ago, I didn't know that I wanted a dodo specifically to represent me. And there's a story behind this too that you guys will know eventually, but I'm so proud that this is my merchandise. Like, this is what I get to sell to you guys, and you guys get to wear a freaking dodo bird with a bindle on his back. It's so cool. This is the cool thing to be in. This is a cool world. Anyways, if you guys do want to support this channel, on screen in the description right now, you'll have some merchandise you can buy, or you can check out my Patreon, or however long in the future you're watching this. I don't know if there's gonna be future ways to donate to this channel, whatever. Please consider it, and subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single video, and we'll see you guys in the next video. I love you long time, Clatts. Goodbye.